Hello there, my YouTube family. How are you? It is so glad. I'm so glad to be with you again. Thank you so much. Usually, when I come on, is because I have an entourage of emails, and the emails are saying, "I feel like I'm being followed. I feel like there's eyes everywhere. Is it possible for the narcissist to have access to me through others or through some kind of spying mechanism?" Yes, it is. And I want to talk about that. So let's talk about that. Many of you feel like you're being followed. You feel like that narcissist has flying monkeys that are following you. Flying monkeys are people who are loyal to the narcissist. They give themselves to the narcissist, and their whole ultimate theme is to protect that narcissist with against all odds. And it doesn't matter how much you hurt. It doesn't matter how much devastation come to you, they will protect that narcissist. And many times people don't believe to the extent that you are going through with the narcissist and the disabilities that the narcissist want to engage in your life by making sure you are disadvantaged at every point. You're disadvantaged technologically, you're disadvantaged when you go out, that there's somebody there to stalk you, and most people don't believe it. They believe that something is wrong with you, that people don't want to give themselves and that much attention to you, but you know that this is not a disillusionment. And so what happens is many of you have left your home and you find this certain car that is, it always end up where you are. You find these certain people, excuse me, always end up where you are. Or if you talk on your phone, you'll mention a conversation, and this conversation piece start being a Facebook conversation flow, and you're wondering how is that. And so the first time you thought it was okay, it may have been something that just happened. The second time, well, third time you start thinking that something must be going on here, but you don't really have anyone that you can talk to and tell about it, because most people really think that what people go through with narcissistic relationships, there is no way that that can be happening, because sometimes it seems like a sci-fi relationship. Prophet Stan, I'll call you back. I'm still on air. Okay. All right. That's my son. All right. And so many of you are going through stalking. The flying monkeys are making it very difficult for you. They showing up where you are. And then you are talking on your phone, and then you are hearing things about the conversation that you know that there was nobody there but you and the individual that was on the other end of the phone. And you're wondering, how is it possible? Well, when you were with the narcissist, they had they had access to your phone. You didn't think anything about it. When they would have your phone, you would not think that they will put a spying device on your phone, and they're tracking everything you do. They seem to know everything you do. They seem to know when you're making bank transactions. They know all of this. So you know that if something is going on. Many of them have access to your computer. Many of them have access to your iPad. And you know that these conversation pieces is just you and the individual. There is no way possible for them to know that. You didn't tell anybody but the individual does not know the narcissist, and you are not talking to the narcissist. So you are trying to figure out what is happening. They have spying device, and they are illegal, but that doesn't stop people from getting them excuse me, and it doesn't stop people from using them. And so when you are being stalked, a lot of times the narcissists stalk you because they want that they want that fuel, they want that energy from you. And it doesn't matter if they triangulate and they get someone else, they still hate losing. The narcissists hate losing. They don't mind giving you up which we call that discarding you. They will discard you, but they hate when you escape. They hate when you leave, because a narcissist is always in their mind to be in a win-win situation. And remember, once you are with the narcissist feel like you belong to them. They have a sense of ownership, a sense of entitlement to the relationship, and feel like you should never leave them, you should never go anywhere, you should never interact with another person. Even though the narcissist cheat, they do not want you to have another relationship. And you'll find that many of you, when the narcissist discarded you, and they were fine as long as they discarded you. You were wounded, you were crying. But when they found out that you had someone else, when they found out that you were dating someone else, then they come back in for the Hoover. And somehow they knew where you went, they knew where you were going, they knew what you enjoyed, and they had all of this information, and they let it come out. When they hoovered you, you answered the phone, you called, because you still in love with them. They're not in love with you, because the narcissists don't love, they use and abuse. And so they attach themselves to fuel. And so when they called you, they was calling you because they heard you was with someone, and they heard you went somewhere, they heard that you was at some place, and you're trying to ask them, how did you know that? And so they look like they're God, like they have some kind of psychic power. Psychic power or empathic power, and that is not true. They got flying monkeys, because the empath feel, and the narcissist doesn't feel anything that's positive toward you. They only feel what is positive toward themselves, because they are self-centered, self-oriented, self-engaging, self-grandizing. So everything is self. It's about them. And the moment it ceased to be about them, it ceased to be. And that's why when the narcissist doesn't get fuel, he discards. And so you are not crazy. There are phone spying mechanism that they can attach to your phone. They can put cameras in the house. You don't know that. But remember, the narcissist in the house. And when you have a narcissist that's technically savvy, especially the cerebral one, because the cerebral narcissists use sex. They can go without sex, and they seem to have a sense of control when it comes to sex. They use sex as a hooking mechanism, as a training mechanism for their advantage, but they're cerebral. They would rather read a book than to sleep with you. They would rather engage in some technological equipment or event or assignment rather than to be intimate. And if you notice, some narcissists, the only reason they're intimate is because they're using that as a powerful source. They're using that to hook you, because they know about soul ties. They know about training the mind. The more specimens, or the more supply the narcissist has, the more equipped, the more skilled they are, and they become skilled in your personality. They start to learn different kind of personality. They learn to engage in different ways. They want to know the results. They know the fallout, because they've been with how many women, how many men. And whether it's lesbianism, homosexuality, or heterosexual, or a marriage partner, these people engage with lots and lots and lots of people. That's why the narcissist can be dangerous sexually, where you are with them sexually and you're not using any protection sexually. You know, it can be very dangerous, because they get who they want. If they want them, they go get them. They have no restraining orders against their own emotions, against their own will. They have free, and they're liberal with who they want. All they need is a desire and availability of supply. And when they go after their supply, they're very focused. Well, once you with the narcissist and you leave the narcissist because you escaped, you discarded the narcissist did not discard you, because when the narcissist discard you, they feel like they got more leverage with discarding you. So they put you in this holding pattern. They chef you, and then they show back up, and then you supposed to act like nothing never happened. If you notice that when the narcissist show up, he show off from the last point that he was at. He didn't show off new. He show off new in the fact that he emerged and mirror other people, but he left you at a certain place, and he think you are in that place, and he treats you like you are in that place. And that's why many times when they do come back, they come back back giving you the same thing they left you with. But when you leave the narcissist, this is a whole different story. The narcissist really punish you because he was supposed to have drained you of that strength. The narcissists go after the will. They go after your mind after they go after your emotions. First, they hit your emotions, they tantalize your emotions, they train your emotions, then they get in your thought, they get into your mind because they need you to turn them over and over and over in your memory bank, over and over and over again. Then they get into your will where you now lose the will to fight back because now they have captured your will. And everything you have is about the narcissist. It's not even about you anymore. It's about the narcissist. It's about pleasing the narcissist. So what the narcissist does, if the narcissist know you you have a temperament, especially the empath, the super empath can lose themselves with the narcissist. I want to do another video, about 2 more videos on the empath. There's so much about the empath that we just don't give weight to, we don't consider, because the empath are very strong people. They're very straightforward people, especially the super empath. I mean, they're going to tell it like it is, but they can lose themselves with the narcissist because the narcissist, you're trying to tap into them emotionally, and you got the emotions. Sometimes they're like androids. They have no emotion. They just shut down and you don't feel anything, and you keep trying to pick and go somewhere with them. There's nowhere to go. So they start to overthrow the empath because the empath has nowhere to feel. And if the empath has nowhere to feel, they have nowhere to be. Where these narcissists feel very obligated to their specimen. They feel very controlling with their specimen. And they feel that whoever is with them belongs to them. That doesn't matter if they divorce you. What is a divorce? I mean, they can be married and be with you. They can be divorced and still feel like that you belong to them. And if you marry somebody else, that's when they really come after you, because it's the challenge of taking you away from that other person. And when they take you away from that other person, because the narcissists feel like there's nobody better than them, they feel like they don't have to answer anybody. This sense of grandiosity means that they've overthrown everything. So you marrying someone does not stop them, it challenges them, and sometimes it turns them to engagement. And when they engage, they compete against your husband and feel like they can take you away from your husband. They come in as apologizing for what they did, and then they come in with sadness. But then they start telling you where you've been and what you're doing and what you and your spouse is doing. And what they say is, I know you and you belong to me and you have deceived me. You have betrayed me, even though they was triangulating. And the reason you left me for a new specimen, for new supply. But yet you come to me when I find somebody, and now I'm wrong. And they will stalk you. They will get flying monkeys to stalk you. They tap your phone from being there. Somehow they get into the place. If you're not married and you may be with somebody, or you may be still sad over losing them, they get into your house, and then they'll ask, could I use your phone? You know, my bars are low, or my juice is not here. And then they say, excuse me, I'm just going to go here and talk. And then it takes about 2 minutes to attach a spying device to your phone, and then you go to the kitchen and they act like they're very sorry, and you go cook, and next thing you know, they want to use your computer because they want to look up something. They are attaching spying mechanism, and they take pictures of you. They know where you're going. They hear all of your transactions. They got pictures of all of your emails, and they got pictures of all your texts. They hear your conversation, and then they tell you, and to them it is a game. So they feel very pleasurable letting you know, I know what you're doing. And then finally you think, you got someone stalking me? So now you paranoid. You go out of the house and you paranoid. You're going and you can't even drive forward from looking around you. You're almost a hazard on the road, and you're dangerous on the road because you're so occupied with the information that this narcissist got. And what the narcissist didn't tell you is they put that spying equipment, especially the cerebral one, put that spying equipment on your phone, and it's impossible to detect and almost impossible to get off, where you are finding yourself, you may need to purchase another phone, and then they're on your computer. So and you have to be careful. The best thing to do not allow anyone to use your phone. Don't allow them to use your phone. You cannot trust them. And then you cannot trust those who are engaged with the flying monkey, because these flying monkeys are loyal to the narcissist. That way that you were addicted to them, the flying monkeys is addicted to that narcissist. They're loyal to their narcissist. They will hurt you for their narcissist. They will do anything for their narcissist. And these are not people that are sleeping, always sleeping with the narcissist. These are business people. But you got to remember the frequency and the aura that the narcissists give out is still addictive when you are interacting with them. And a lot of narcissists, the upper mid-grade narcissists, the greater narcissists, know who they are. They know the power they have. They don't have enough experience in business. They don't have, because every partner is not a sexual partner. Some partners are business partners. They never sleep with certain people because they don't want certain ties. They want a different kind of hold on a different kind of people. So they're very careful in how they use them. They're very careful in how they bond with them, because they don't bond with everybody sexually unless they want that stronghold and that soul tie. Because once you sleep with a narcissist, the narcissist know you literally have to destroy that soul tie. And most people don't know how to go in and to destroy them. You've been with that narcissist, 6 months later, you still thinking about them. Or you get a reminder and boom, you rechannel. And so some people say they've been without the narcissist 1 year, and one thought come and they entertain that thought. Excuse me. And it's like rechanneling the whole thing, rebooting the whole thing. Well, that's because when you deal with a relationship with the narcissist and you are away from the narcissist, you have escaped from the narcissist, you have to clear that from the root. Most of you may need a therapist. There's nothing wrong with getting a therapist. Get a therapist that is a narcissist specialist that specialize in cluster B relationship, that specialize in the arena that you are, because most therapists that don't deal with narcissists going to think something is wrong with you. They're going to blame you. And when you go to that therapist, you're going to come out feeling worse. I mean, the narcissist make you doubt yourself. Now you with the therapist, they're making you doubt yourself, because the therapist think nobody in earth is going to go through anything like that. Nobody in earth is like that, because they fail to know what the narcissist is capable of. And even when they analyze the narcissist, it does not give them all of the operational processes, all of the games that the narcissists play. Many of them are familiar with the narcissist because of the relationship the narcissist had with that supply, and not because they personally dealt with the narcissist. Because the narcissist that the therapist has dealt with, they dealt with the conning, scheming, because the narcissist release and emit that into their atmosphere and start playing games with them. And then next thing you know, the therapist who doesn't have a safeguard for the narcissist get caught up in the addiction, because they're emitting frequencies. A narcissist is very dangerous. They are very, very malignant, and you cannot play with them. That's why you find that even conversating with them over the phone is just as addictive as being with them in their presence. I can only imagine what people think. That is really crazy that you can fumble and play. Those of you who think you can play with the narcissist, think that you have control of the narcissist, I'm getting ready to tell you something. And the truth of it is, you cannot. You either discard them, have no contact, and move on, or you're going to get caught. Because the demons that they play with, the arena that they play with, the frequency that they give off, the mindset they give off, the tracking mechanism, the control, and the feel like that you always belong to them. That's why they hoover you. They stalk you. You say, I haven't been hoover in 5 years. I know people who've been 10 years. The narcissist showed up just like he left yesterday. It doesn't matter. You always in their mind, not in your mind. Because in our mind, once I'm I'm done with you. I'm free from you. But in their mind, you always belong to them. They own you. If they're with you, the narcissists feel like they own you. And some of you have got your bearing back. You done moved on with your life. You're in the state of recovery. But some of you keep drawing the narcissist. You leave one narcissist, you draw another narcissist. That's because the narcissists have a soul tie. And you are geared. Your frequency is for narcs, and they come because you're a sounding board. You're a walking sounding board, and you're emitting these frequencies. And you're not getting and attracting a regular relationship. You are attracting a narcissistic relationship. No matter what you do, the person you're with, they come up to being a narcissist, and you're going after one situation into another situation, one level of a torment to dimensional torment, from dimensional torment to realm torment, from realm torment to height torment, width torment, depth torment. So your stages keep growing, because once you enter a realm, that's the whole. When you enter a dimension, you go to a realm. When you enter a level, you go to a dimension. So these realm relationship, and that the narcissist feel that he is obligated to you, and you are obligated to him. It doesn't matter if he cheat, you have no right to say anything. It doesn't matter if he abuse you, you have no right to say anything. That's why in court seems to side, because narcissists emit these frequencies even in courts. And you know I'm right, because you know you got all of those documents, all those evidence. Then you got a lawyer who's unfamiliar with the cluster B personality, and so they go to court and they rambo them. I mean, it's Rambo justice. That narcissist just ramshacked the court. And you are looking at them because his paperwork is not together, her paperwork is not together. She telling lies. She have no fact. You got all of these documents, and they are facts. That's why sometimes you got to deal in the realm of the spirit when it comes to narcissism. I'm a Christian, and I believe that my faith works. I believe prayer works. And just like the narcissists go in and take over that environment, I believe we can pray against a takeover spirit, we can overthrow what the narcissists emit. But that take you to be consistent, that take you to be strong. And those of you who are not Christian, you can build your mind. You can build your mind with the source of power that is available to you, and regiment your mind with such strength until your mind don't break down. You don't get up into fallacies. You don't get up into imageries, false imageries. And then you got all of these holograms going on in your mind that is not real. Yes, you're being followed. Yes, your phone was tapped. Yes, there's cameras in your house. You got too much information about my house, and nobody else is in my house. That's why when the narcissist is there, you got to go through your house. They hide in plants. You would be amazed. They have a camera that looks like a screw, and it can be on the clock. It can be in a wall, and it looks like a screw. And who knows that that's just a camera, and they're locating you. Start trusting what you feel. Start trusting what you know. It doesn't matter if people say you crazy. Those people did not go through the hell you went through. Those people did not sleep with that narcissist and was tortured every day with that narcissist. Those people did not hear the word salad. They didn't hear the gaslighting. They didn't hear the torture. They did not hear that. And so even with gang stalking, which is another whole level of stalking, is when you are stalked everywhere, and it's immense. It's almost like CIA stuff. The narcissist, as cerebral as he is, as cerebral as she is, that is how they play out the scene of hoovering, of stalking. And so when you are with a cerebral narcissist, the danger is when you're not a thinker. They think all the time. They sleep less and think more. You sleep more and think less. You got to strengthen your mind. How you strengthen your brain is with information. The stronger, the more information you feed your brain, the more you challenge your brain. Even in literature and different things, feed your mind. Stop being away from books and you are there depressed. And what you're thinking about is what the narcissist done to you, what the narcissist said. So you sit in a corner and you let your brain go to waste. No, no, no. Get you a book. Read it. If you have to read it out loud, walk with it. If you have to walk and read, if you have to put it on the floor and you're in the shower and read your book. If that narcissist done got a control center in your house and he's controlling everything, he has to go to work. He has to go to store. Those who don't work, you have to go to store. So utilize and take advantage of every moment you have. You have to go into management, time management, because you're going to have to manage your time, because now you have to look for the times that are available to you. If you know that and believe that you are being tracked, that your phones are being tapped, then you're going to have to stop talking business over the phone, and you have to find another way to communicate. Go to the library. Tell them it's not clear, and if they don't believe you, then you just find another way of communicating with them. Go old-fashioned, write letters, do whatever you have to do, but you must believe that when something has a pattern, that means 3 or more incidents have happened to verify the information you have. You're not just thinking this, because when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they can have you so crazy you have no idea what's reality and what's not reality. I mean, you got to get your thoughts together. Everything is fogged. Your brain has been injured, and your thoughts is in a place of delirium, because they have caused you to question yourself, because you can't please them no matter what you do. One day is fine, the next day is not fine. They have totally moved everybody away from you. You are totally away from your family, and you feel alone because they have isolated you. They can't isolate your brain from reading, from building. Build your brain, build your mind, build your brain, build your mind. And even if you have to go to the mirror when you go to the bathroom, spend 1 minute talking to yourself, you must get up. Girl, there's nothing wrong with you. Man, there's nothing wrong with you. You have a strong mind. You have a powerful mind. You can see. You're not easily deceived. You like truth. Talk to yourself. Keep talking until you are convinced of who you are, and you are not going in the way of the narcissist. Don't let the narcissist keep telling you what you are not. You are more than what the narcissist say. Remember, everything they do for themselves. Nothing to do with you. Even if your body give them a child, it has nothing to do with you. They need some brownie points. They need an extension of themselves. They need trophies. They need to brag about their children. And then some of them have children, it was just to tie you down, because they could care less about those kids. They give nothing to them emotionally, financially. They give nothing. So you are left with the trademark and the evidence that you've been with them. Trust yourself. Rebuild yourself when you know that you have been tracked. You know there is a tapping mechanism that's entrapping your every moment, that's dictatorial of your every moment. And nobody believe. Honey, be convinced yourself. Because a lot of time, unless people have been involved with a narcissistic relationship, the things you are saying, they are like, that cannot be. They are losing it. You are not losing it. You are very sane. Your mind may be fogged, but you are not losing it. And that's why when you get away from the narcissist, stay away. Let the fog clear. Get brain clearing. Get thought clearing. Let your thoughts clear. Let your will get strong again. Rise up, because your will has weakened to the narcissist. And once you get your will back, you have to put yourself on a regimen. That means you get a pattern. You get up at the same time. Even if you have nothing to do, do it anyway. Get up at the same time. eat at the same time, build a pattern, build a regimen. And once you build a regimen and you keep doing it, do it for 45 days, do it for 90 days until you lock that pattern in. And once you lock that pattern in, you're going to find that your will is stronger. So now you have the power to resist what you love, to resist what you crave, to resist what you bend to resist what you yield to resist what you thought was a God, to resist what you thought you couldn't live without, you couldn't think without it. You had to have it. Now you don't, because you have built your will back up and you have taken your life back. Your will, mind, will, and emotion, your soul realm. You have to take it back. And once you take it back, use it. Let it go forth like the narcissist train you to bend, to get away from people, to get into confusion. Now you're training you to be very sound, with clarity, to be very astute, to think, to dream, to plan, to go. You can then, once you do that, you can even start training your desires, what you desire, because what you desire of the narcissist can shift. The only thing is when you are living with the narcissist, is very, very difficult to retrain the brain, because they tear down everything you build and you're constantly being slam dunk. It's like the winds of a hurricane blowing on a house. This house is being blown on. The roof is gone. The sides is gone. It just slowly tears the house up, because the narcissist is like a hurricane wind, and they bear down on you, bear down on your body, your mind, bear down on your thoughts and your dreams, bear down on taping you, scoping you, clocking you, tracking you, stalking you. They bear down on every area of your life. That's why when a hurricane comes, they tell you evacuate. You must evacuate. Get out of that moment. Stay clear of that moment. The more moments you stay clear of, the more you'll get strong. You say, it's impossible with me living here. Well, you know, some of you are not married and you stay. You stay there. You got to build to the choice. See, when you stay there and you're not married, you don't have any kids, you may have a lease. If the lease is in your name, well, you know you have to be there. Then take that time. It's 6 months lease. And if you've been there 6 months, you may have 2 months left. Build your mind. A month left. Build your mind. And then once you find out, some of you didn't even know it was a narcissist until now you discover why the pattern is going on. You discover when he leaves you, and then when he leaves you, he stalks you. He don't even just come back. She don't even just come back. They stalk you. And when they stalk you and they're tracking you and they got their eyes on you, all of this is also very manipulative to keep you paranoid. And guess what? When you are paranoid, whatever thing has you in that paranoia has your thoughts, has your mind, because you're constantly thinking of that thing and them all the time. Well, when it's time for a Hoover, guess what? You just right. You're just like fresh fruit. You're so right. You're sweet and juicy. And when he bite into that moment, boom, there you go. Back in the torment. And some of y'all been going through this 5 years. Leaving, coming. It's been 5 years, he haven't changed. It's been 20 years, he haven't changed. It's been 30 years, he haven't changed. Okay, now what you going to do? You know they're spying. You know they're stalking. You got a history. You got a history of this. It doesn't matter what nobody say. You got too much evidence, too much history. Now the ball is in your court. Addictions can be broken. People who were addicted on drugs broke the addiction with a choice. They made up in their mind that they're going to suffer. They knew they was going to have the withdrawal symptoms, but they wanted to pay the sacrifice of freedom. Maybe that needs to be your choice, the sacrifice of freedom. There may be suffering because you're going to go through withdrawal system. You're going to get away from them, and you're going to want them so bad. You're going to want to touch them. You're going to want to see them. You're going to want to talk to them. And you cry. Well, go ahead and cry, because you're going to cry so much, and one day you ain't going to cry no more. You are going to get up. Rise up. This is your moment. This is your time. Stalking can come in many different ways, and you are not crazy. You are not insane. It doesn't matter what they say. You are very sane. You know what's going on. You know what is happening. Trust your instincts. Instinctively, you know. Like empath, they know. Once an empath pick up a frequency, no doubt about it, they got it in a nutshell. The only way an empath miss it is the narcissist break down their person, and it can happen. Don't you break down. Get up. Get up again. Rise up again. Fight again. Get you a book. Get you a magazine. Read, read, read. Trust yourself. You are not delusional. You are being tracked. You're being spied on. Let's hack the system by growing your intensity of thought, which is going to make you more aware. Once you trust you, you're going to move with instinct, and it's going to work for you. Well, I'm glad to spend this time with you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Those of you who love this, if this bless you, like it and share it. Like it and share it. Share it, share it, share it, share it. Someone needs this because somebody believes something is wrong with them. You know there's nothing wrong with them. You know the truth. Share this video. I challenge you. Find as many people as you can. Share it and tell them to subscribe, and then tell them to share it. Once you push that bell, every time I come on, an alert system will come up and you can tap into these videos. I hope that you have been blessed, and I pray that you trust yourself. Like it and share it and subscribe. I'm Helen Sattler. I'm your destiny helper, and I look forward to us being together again. God bless you, and remember, you are going to be the greatest you possible. No one can handle this but God, not the narcissist. Trust yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. You are very sane, and we believe you. God bless you.